Hi, welcome to Lupus Speaks podcast, where we shine a spotlight on lupus who are bossing it in business, inspiring others, and making a mark in the lupus community. I'm your host, Shedrica Holmes, on a mission to showcase the incredible journeys of lupus warriors turned entrepreneurs, influencers, and advocates. So get ready for empowering stories, insightful conversations, and a dose of inspiration. This is not just a podcast, it's a platform for you to dream again. So join me as we explore the possibilities beyond lupus and celebrate the resilience of lupus community. Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Lupus Speaks podcast. And today I'm super excited to finally meet my dear friend and talk to you, Coach Lizeth
Yes.
Santamaria.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, so let's just break the ice a little bit. And I want to know what's one thing on your bucket list that you've determined to accomplish in the next year?
Ooh, okay. So is this personally, professionally?
It could be either one, whatever you want to share.
That's a really good question. I think personally, I want to accomplish more balance. I am someone that I get FOMO uh, when I don't do something. So if there's opportunities that come my way, I'm always like, yes, yes, yes. And
Yeah.
so in preaching what I coach my clients on, it's like, okay, there's sometimes you just have to go back to the basics and reset. And I noticed that I started saying yes to so many opportunities, and then that caused some unbalance for me. So I it's like that mentality of like you have to do everything and be the best at everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love to achieve. That fuels my fire. But I also need to understand that I don't have to do everything to achieve. So as long as there's alignment in the choices that are the opportunities that I say yes to, as long as there's alignment with my purpose, alignment with like what I do for coaching, and my well-being, then I will say yes to it. But I don't have to say yes to everything. So that's a personal goal of mine, and being okay with that. And then professionally, um, lumping school in there. I'm going to school for my PhD, studying holistic medicine. So maintaining my straight A average.
Oh,
um,
okay.
yes, I'm like, I like really try hard. Is like getting an A is important for me,
Yeah.
which goes back to what I was
Are
just
you
telling
saying,
you.
yeah?
So, but it's, I feel this work is important, doing research for lupus. So I take a lot of pride in the work and the research that I do for school. So maintaining that. And then also really connecting and building community within the lupus community. I want to be better at that and make genuine connections with people that have lupus, especially lupus warriors, sisters. Like that's important to me.
Yeah, I'm right
I
there
know
with
that's a
you on
long
that one.
answer.
No, it's okay. I was just trying to like break the ice a little bit for you and for me. Okay, so how has your journey with lupus influenced your career path as a lupus coach, a holistic health person, a yoga instructor, and personal trainer, and you're studying for your PhD? So how do you how does that lupus influence that? But then how do you do it all?
Girl, with God's grace.
Yeah.
um, that's how I do it, literally. I will say, so if we back up, I call it my former life. In my
Okay.
former life, before I started doing any of this, I went to school. I got my master's in human resources and I was working in HR. And my goal was I want to be an HR director. And that's what I saw myself doing for the rest of my life. And so, yes, I got my master's. I climbed up the corporate ladder. I managed at my highest point in my career. at the end of my career, I managed 40 plus people that reported directly to me. I had a whole team in HR, and it was just to the point where my lupus was at its worst. The working environment was very stressful. There was a lot of we worked in the healthcare industry, but it's corporate America. So if you can imagine how that is, everyone's trying to be like at the top and make the most money, and like it's you know it wasn't conducive to what I needed for my health and well-being. So although I was making a lot of money, although I was very successful, although I chose that career path, um, looking at my life and really getting real with myself, and it was like God was telling me, shouting to me, you need to change. And God, I'm very intuitive. I'm also very spiritual. I have a strong faith in God. And God will, if you open up to God and you speak to Him and you ask Him, He will tell you. And then it's up to us to listen and really take what He's saying. And
Yeah.
God was showing me over and over again this, like, baby girl, I have a different path for you. I have a different purpose for you. I want you to go in this direction. And he made it very clear to me at the worst point in my health. I was 20 pounds overweight. I developed an eye twitch. Like, it was so
No,
bad.
I used to have that too.
Girl, I had a stroke in
Mhm.
2009. And I worked in healthcare for 10 years at the largest hospital organization here in Florida. And yeah, my symptoms were out of control. I was literally on 9 different meds for lupus. And this is what I want to clarify. They give you medications for lupus, and then as you develop other symptoms, then you get medications for the
For the
symptoms.
symptoms.
So
Correct.
I was on not like I had to be like, this is not working. 9 different medications. So yeah, being overweight, having a stroke, high blood pressure, my hair was falling out, and like my skin rash, girl, everything, skin rashes, digestive issues. I was just like, I need to shift and make a change. And so that really made me look inside and say, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And how did I get here? Because no one forced me to go to choose getting a master's in HR and like go down that career path. I chose that. And so that really made me realize, like, okay, you do have lupus. You need to make better choices for yourself. You need to do what's best for you at all times. And then I really, with God's guidance and enlightenment, and really doing some soul searching and really focusing on purpose, because I didn't want to make that same mistake again and going
Right.
down a career path that wasn't, if it's not
It
led
wasn't
by
God's
God,
will. Yeah.
girl, then it's
I
not
don't
for
want it.
me.
Right.
Right. 100%. And so I was like, God, what do you want me to do? Why did you bring me here on this earth? Why did you create me? Like, I literally had prayers and talks with God like that, showing me the way. And I remember just praying, like, whatever you tell me, I will trust and I will do. And coaching is where he led me, and really being back then, girl, nobody was like a lupus coach. I remember Googling it and being like, is this a thing? Because I know I wanted to coach people with lupus, and I Googled it, not, like there was nothing. Like now, and I think that that's really helpful for our community. Now we have more resources, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to help people with lupus because I wish I would have had that
Yeah.
support from someone that understands when I was diagnosed. And so that's what led me to being the lupus coach. That's what led me to really develop my practices with holistic health and wellness. Um, and then I started to explore, like, what are these holistic methods that is going to help me, that are going to help me, and that's going to help my clients. And that's when I found, decided to learn more about nutrition, become a personal trainer. And then I found yoga. And
Yeah.
that was just so amazing. I had always like I had practiced yoga in 2014 off and on, but really getting into my yoga practice and being consistent and then actually being like, you know what, I'm gonna teach. And yeah, so that all brought me to where I am. And then on top of that, throughout those years, I really developed my spiritual connection with God, like I said, and my intuitive abilities, and started healing my own trauma through energy healing. And now I help other people through intuitive energy healing to really heal and overcome their struggles with health or with trauma.
Okay. That was a
I know,
lot.
sorry.
No, you're fine. I was like, wait, I'm gonna forget my question. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So, with all that, let's go back a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
Let's go back some to the like what so you were having all of these symptoms while you were in this heavy work environment.
Hmm.
And that what about that made you go to the doctor and be like, okay, I'm not feeling right. What is this doc? How did you get your diagnosis? What
Okay.
year was that? Let's
Yeah. Okay.
and that's my
So
fault in my questioning.
I was actually diagnosed at the age of 24 in 2006. And the only reason that I went to the doctor was because I was getting like really large purple bruises all over my body. Like I would wake up with new bruises and it looked like someone hit me or like I knocked into something. And my mom, it just got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And so my mom was like, you need to go to the doctor. Like
Yeah,
something's wrong. And I wanted, like, back then, like, I never went to the doctor. Like, I didn't have to. And so I was
yeah.
like, no, it's fine. She was like, you need to go. So I was like, okay, fine.
Thank
She's
God for our
right. Like,
moms.
yeah, like I couldn't hide it anymore. Like I couldn't deny that I was worried about what was going on. And so I went to the doctor. I had to go to the doctor twice, two different doctors, because the first doctor that I went to, who was a man, looked at one of my bruises that was like on my neck area, because I had them everywhere, all over my body. And he was like, that looks like a hickey. Like not something like
Hmm.
medically, medical that I need to check on. And so I was so embarrassed, I left. Granted, I went to that appointment. I'm 24. I went to that appointment by myself. I felt this big. I felt like so embarrassed. And so I left. And then my mom was like, what happened? And I told her, and she was like, we're going back. I'm going with you. And I was like, okay. So she requested a female doctor. So I felt more comfortable. And that doctor actually listened and was like, we're going to run some tests. They ran some tests. And then that's when they were like, okay, you either have AIDS, cancer, or you have lupus. And so when I was actually happy that Kate said you have lupus because I did, of course, like you don't want to be diagnosed with cancer
Hey,
or
so
AIDS. And
right.
so, but I didn't know anything about lupus at the time. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, it's lupus. What do we do? Like, let's fix this. Like, and then it's like, no, you're going to have this for the rest of your life. And so that was in 2006. So
So
by
what
the,
was going through your head? Like, you're 24, you're like thriving in your career, it's where you want to be, it's what you want to do, and it's just like, I'm sick. Like, what? So what was going through your mind then?
it's funny you asked that because that was before I climbed the corporate ladder. And so
Oh,
I'm very ambitious. I love learning. And when I was first diagnosed, I really did not stop to really take it in.
yeah.
I did not want to take it in. I did not want to accept that I had lupus. Um, After getting all those medications, there was a point where I was like, F this. I'm not taking this.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the hospital at my lowest point. And so that's when I was like, okay, you have to take these meds because you don't want to be in the hospital again. But I still mentally and emotionally did not accept that I had this diagnosis. And so, for I will say the first 8 years of having lupus, no lie, um, I internalized my health struggles. I didn't share them with my family, my friends, um, because I didn't want them to feel sorry for me, feel bad for me. Um, None of that. Treat me different. I'm a very independent person. If you get to, when you get to know me, and so
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't want anyone like trying to slow me down. So to answer your question, I pushed forward. Like, it was hard though. I struggled because I didn't give myself grace in the beginning. So I pushed through and I got my master's. And then I climbed the corporate ladder, but I really struggled those years because I didn't focus on my healing.
And I don't think when we are first diagnosed, especially back then, because I was diagnosed in 2008, and with the lack of information, or like I never even heard of it before. So
Yeah.
imagine my face. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like had no idea what it was about to do to me, what it was gonna
Hmm.
take. Like after like you didn't see it.
Well, can
So
I just tell you, the
yeah.
first time that I heard it, the very first time, was watching America's Next Top Model. That's how long ago this
Yes,
was. And
yes.
the girl Mercedes, who was my favorite on the show, was like, "I have lupus." And then I just remember she was talking about her hair falling out and being tired. And but
Mhm.
she was my favorite. So then when they told me that I had lupus, I was like, "Oh, I think
Oh,
that's
it's
what
like her.
Mercedes
Yeah.
had."
Now that you
Yes.
say that, I remember that because I think Eva
Yeah.
was on that episode, that season as well.
I don't remember if she was on that.
I
I
think
don't
she
remember.
was. I don't remember, but I do remember that you say that. Yeah,
Yeah, that
it
was
was.
my first.
But
There weren't people like us talking about. No, there was none of that. So
even
you were
just going
very
to
much
the
on your own.
library and trying to find books on it, and I could not find
Wow.
books. It was like, maybe like the textbook, Lupus Encyclopedia or something like that. It wasn't like stories or something that I could connect to and relate to. You know what? I am very thankful for social media for this reason. Other than that, I hate it, but for this reason, I love
It's
it.
been a game changer. It has
Yeah,
really been a game changer. Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah.
100%.
It makes you see that, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. There are other people that look like me
And
that's
it's
going
more
through this
accessible, yeah, to connect with people that are going what you're going through. So yeah, for people like us that were diagnosed back in like the early 2000s to now, or even before that,
before. Yeah.
the game has changed as far as the lupus community and the support that you can get and connecting with your lupus warrior family. It was not like this. Information is so accessible now, which is why I think that there are more people talking about lupus and we have more support than we did back then.
Okay. So I agree with you back when you were talking about looking up, being a lupus coach, because it might have been one other person, and that's all. Like it wasn't a lot of people.
No,
Even the
not at all.
websites were so vague.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, okay, well, I already know what lupus is. Like, what am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah. Now what? Now what? Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like that is the importance of being able to connect with the person and coach them through the process,
Hmm.
because a lot of the times it can be overwhelming. So, can you share with us a little bit more about like some of the things that you help your clients with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I I prayed to God about this to really send me people that want to take a holistic approach when it comes to their lupus health management, that have autoimmune illness, that have a chronic illness, and want to heal from holistic methods. Um, and that a lot of my clients struggle with, their every day to day life. And so that is also why, on top of the holistic health and wellness coaching that I offer, I help people with their mental, emotional, and physical healing, through adopting healthy lifestyle changes, making healthy behaviors in their life, but also healing from their past trauma. So the
Mm-hmm.
intuitive energy healing is a practice that I do on myself, and I help others heal with. And that's really focusing on energy medicine and energy management. And then I also help people with their purpose and really finding, just very similar, the same way that I talked to you about me finding my purpose and alignment through what I do every day. I coach and help my lupus warrior clients with that, because it is really hard to deal with lupus and still have a job
Yeah.
and support yourself.
So a little bit more, we're gonna go back to the supporting yourself thing because I know we just touched on that.
Okay.
But I did want to know a little bit more when you say the energy medicine part of it. Like I don't fully understand. I want my listeners to know exactly what that is.
Okay. I love talking about this. So, um, energy medicine is based off of traditional Chinese medicine and understanding that everything in this world has its own source of energy called qi.
Okay.
And so, from the sun, the moon, the trees, the plants, the earth. That's why they talk about grounding outside and being barefoot and really just putting your feet on the earth, because you get that energy back. It's a good way to like rebalance and reset. So everything in this world has energy. Even you have your own source of energy, your chi. And so when I love to explain it like this. When you are someone who is healthy, right? No lupus, your energy flows freely throughout your body, throughout your organs, your muscles, your blood vessels, your cells, your joints, and everything functions as it should properly, right? That is the flow of energy. That's how your energy should be, right? And that's when you feel optimal and healthy and well. However, when you have lupus, it's a little different. That creates stuck energy within the body, stagnant energy, dull
Hmm.
energy, right? And
Okay.
so instead of everything, your energy flowing freely and everything functioning as it should, it gets stuck in your organs, causing dysfunction, in your joints, causing inflammation and pain, in your cells, your blood vessels, all your muscles. And so when we have that stagnant, stuck energy, that's what causes the inflammation. That's what causes pain. That's what causes organ dysfunction. That's
Uh,
the basis of energy medicine. And I help to restore the energy and rebalance the energy in your body through intuitive energy healing.
Child, thank God for you, honey, because it's so no, seriously, because
Yeah.
if we go into what that and then we
Yeah.
take the financial part of what lupus brings, I
Yeah.
feel like the combination of the two is probably like the worst part, because typically on your regular day, or if you are well, you manage to upkeep a lifestyle. You can work, you can, do the things that you need to do. But
Mm-hmm.
then when you have this chronic illness that's making you feel stuck,
Yeah.
it keeps you, or for me, it's kept me in the dark, like in the space of, oh, I'm just sick. I'm not gonna be. It starts to create these ideas for you that
Yeah.
you normally wouldn't feel or think about at all because you're well, So you're an ambition. You're going. You're moving. You're making things shake. And I feel like, for the most part, most of us do just keep going and pushing through. But I guess I can't get over the financial part of everything and being able to use my energy to get out of that stuck feeling. And I know that God has been speaking to me and telling me, like, I create you to be more than just this. Even though I used to say that lupus was my blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I really don't know what I would have done or how my life would have planned out if I didn't have lupus. I feel like
100%. Same here.
it is, and I know the Lord was mad at me because I was tripping and I was doing whatever I wanted to do while having it. but I came to a point where I was like, okay, I'm meant for something else. You gave me this for me not to avoid it, to not talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like social media was a big part, because it was like there's a place for this. I can actually tell my story. I can put it out there and I can show and I can learn. And because again, when you not able to get that information, you just kind of know what you know. You don't really know that, oh, I could actually be a coach, or oh, I can actually use this and make my own yoga practice, or oh, I can actually, you know, change my life and help other people at the same time. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing to just work on people's energies and getting them out of that stuck space, I wish that I had that 10 years ago.
Yeah, yes. And thank you. That's very kind of you. It's truly an honor to use a gift that God has given me. And I truly believe that God gave me this gift to help heal others. When God gives you a gift, a talent, it is so you can give back and share it with the world.
Of
That
course.
is why it's purposeful. And so I know that this healing ability that I have, it's helped so many of my clients. Like, it's truly a blessing. I'm so honored to help people through energy healing work. And so, just being able to help people understand things that they've suppressed, just like I suppressed for so many years. Like, yeah, you have lupus and you have trauma. And when you have trauma, especially having a chronic autoimmune illness, that either can exacerbate it, or maybe that is what started your imbalances in that autoimmune illness to even exist within you.
Yeah, the
And so,
trauma.
yes, so
Yeah.
healing that is has been a huge part in my healing journey and being able to achieve remission. And I wish that people talked about that. I wish that my doctors would have educated me on the power of healing, when I was first diagnosed. And so, but that's just not how our medical system is set up,
They
here.
don't get paid if they tell us that.
Yeah,
They,
Western medicine is not based on holistic lifestyle changes, which is why seeing a holistic doctor, seeing a doctor of Chinese medicine, seeing a functional doctor, um, there's so many doctors that focus on the holistic side of healing, and so that's why I am supportive of both. And so having that knowledge is important, which is why I do the research that I do, so I can share it with other people to
yeah.
help them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thankful that you do that, and there is a space for people that are getting that kind of help, because it is definitely an energy thing where you can just feel so crippled, and
Yes.
darkness, and I feel like, I struggle sometimes just reminding myself that I don't need those bad habits or substances to get through whatever it is that I'm experiencing at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And
Mm-hmm.
so, through my traumas, I guess I'll be transparent, but
Mm-hmm.
through my traumas, I've had a lot of sexual abuse. And so that sat in my body for years before I could even say anything. So I feel like that made me sick. And then when I started talking about it and sharing it and being more open about it, I think it made me more sick, because a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want you to tell those type of things, and they don't understand, and they make you feel bad for it. And so I was like, well, if I tell about this, they ain't sure want to hear about my lupus story. So I'm just,
Going to
be
be quiet.
quiet.
And then I'm going to internalize and
It's
suppress even
some
more.
more.
And
And
that
then it just
causes
makes it
illness
worse.
and disease. Yes, it does. Um,
Yeah.
Thank you for, I don't want to skip over the fact that you just shared that. And I just want to acknowledge that. And thank you for feeling comfortable sharing that with me and everyone, your
You
listeners
know
who are
what?
going to
It's a
hear
real
this.
thing. And
Yeah.
I hope that me sharing that helps somebody else to recognize that, man, I never talked about that. Maybe that's why I feel good. I feel bad because
100%.
I didn't, acknowledge that that's something that,
Yeah.
it's bothering me still. And it don't even got to
Yes.
be that. I got so many traumas, girl. I'm like the Tyler Perry movie where everything just happened to that one person. Because I mean, you got your daddy issues, you got,
Yeah.
just life. It's
I
just
mean,
so much.
trauma, yes, trauma can come in so many different forms. And so, in me being transparent, I will share with you when I said I worked through my trauma. And something you said, I just wanted to pause on that. Like maybe trauma can even be suppressed so deep that you forget. And the thing is, you may forget up here in your mind, but your body doesn't forget.
It's stored it.
Your soul doesn't forget. And
Yeah.
so anything can happen and really trigger that trauma to resurface. And then you start feeling it again in your body. And then you feel that emotionally, which, like you said, shifts your energy. And so I really had to sit with myself and uncover. And I think that's what you were referring to, like talking about it made you feel even worse. It's because you have to acknowledge one, the trauma that happened to you, and then two, work through it. That part is the healing process is not roses and sunshine.
No,
It
and
is
everybody is
hard
like,
work.
"Oh, I want to heal and everything," and they like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
and it's
remember,
gonna be
like, be
great.
careful what you ask for, because it's a journey. You don't
It
feel
is a
like you
journey.
don't see the fruits of that labor till get on the other side.
Until yes, and I feel like that's why I literally do energy healing on myself every day, just to make sure that I'm balanced, and that I'm well. Just like you pray every day, like all of those help. But I also dealt with some physical abuse, some sexual abuse. This is actually the first time that I'm mentioning the sexual abuse part, like
Ooh.
to out loud, to people that are not my family members. Um, and yeah, like it really took a toll on me, and um, it can it can really hinder your ability to heal if you do not acknowledge and work on it. And so I commend you for that's I relate to you. And so thank you. It's
Well,
very important.
I realized that dealing with it, people weren't gonna care about it the way that I did because it didn't happen to them. And that those same people are still okay with that person because they don't know. And so you watch them embrace them, like, you know, and it's like in your mind, you're like, "Ah, I wish they just knew what I experienced, how did I experience them, you know? And
Mhm.
even after they do know, they still don't really acknowledge how you may feel because that's not their
Mhm.
experience with them. So I had to learn how to, one, I had to forgive myself for not speaking about it and thinking that I was going to get a certain level of care or gentleness or embrace or it, it gets so deep. But I guess what I'm really trying to say is I had to find my own empowerment. I had to find my own way to get through it and accept what it was and not let it be the be all. Like I don't want that to be my
Not let it
end,
define you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the same thing with lupus. I just refuse to let that be my story. Like it could be a
Yeah.
part of it, just like my kids are a part of it, but it's
Mhm.
not my story. Like I'm your mama now, but I'm Shedrica too. And I think that finding your identity outside of anything that you feel like is attached to you is a big thing. And I just think that big thing gets overlooked sometimes because we don't really have many spaces to be safe. And that's when God talks to me. That's when he says,
Yes.
baby, you don't need nobody else. Seek the kingdom. I'm going to give this to you. And so, like,
Mhm.
finding that energy to stay consistent within that space, that's where the healing comes from. That's when the healing starts, is when you
That's
start hearing
beautiful.
him.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I mean, I got some crazy stories just being in bad relationships and being in the car and the car tag, the license plate says go now. Like, just clear messages. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, God. You telling me to leave this man. Okay.
God will speak to you through
Yes.
so many different ways, and he will tell you, he will guide you. And it's very powerful if you allow God to guide your life or your life and really help you through your healing process. You said something that I just want to pause on because I think it was like really powerful. And I believe this too. When you are diagnosed with lupus, um, it can really shift your whole perspective on life.
Mhm.
And it's like everybody is like, okay, you have an illness, you have a disease, you can't do this, you can't do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. And you feel like you have no control. You literally feel stripped of your independency. Like you feel like, okay, now like I thought my life was going to be this way, and now it's this. And it could be really debilitating mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I think it's important to understand, yes, you have lupus, but that doesn't have to define you. That is something that you will have to deal with. You do have to acknowledge it, but you can overcome. The body's ability to heal is so amazing
Magical.
and beautiful and
Yeah.
powerful. It is a miracle what our bodies can do, and still loving yourself, not giving up on yourself. Your
I think the
body
biggest thing
is
about lupus
important.
is what you think about yourself. Like
About yourself, yes,
about
and your
yourself.
abilities, and so that was is key for me, for my clients that I coach, for my friends that have lupus, is just remembering that doesn't have to define us.
I think
No,
for me, the the way that I got a part of that was planning because it was like,
that's when I met you, is you
yeah, I
were
was
focusing
I'm
on playing. Yeah.
yes, because it gave me something more than just the doctor's appointment. Like it was,
Uh-huh.
if I plan whatever I think I want to do,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be able to achieve it because I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
might not be able to do it that day, but the fact that I can glance and look at what I strive to do, I think it started out with vision boards. And
Okay.
then when I started actually achieving those goals after vision boards, I was like, oh, I need a whole planner. I need to plan my whole life. Cause I mean, I'm just putting out pictures and these things are happening. So I did dive deep into planning. I don't do anything without it.
I love the background story behind that girl. I'm the same way. Like I always say, if I don't write it down, if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
Especially like dealing with brain fog. So like it's been a system for me to remember things, but it also like is a motivator. It keeps me organized. It just like I juggle a lot. Whether it's
Yeah, girl.
school, coaching my clients, teaching yoga. And so, yeah, I think you would be proud of me. My calendar is color coded, and all like you're on my calendar today in purple.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I got my Google Calendar too, and I got the paper. I
Yeah,
got the big, a small, a medium.
I have alerts, everything. Yes, all my
Yeah,
lupus activity work is in purple, and yeah, and so that helps me stay organized so I can be stress free
yeah.
and still pursue everything that I want in life.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what the planner does is, and that's what my main goal is, to help people have a lupus plan, because
Yes.
you have to learn how to manage lupus, but then you also have to manage life, and that's where my planning comes in with the budgeting and how do you manage that little bit that you do have? Like, are you really
Yes.
out here just buying whatever, or are you actually budgeting and saving and planning your meals? Like it's a whole system for
It
me,
is.
but it's
Okay,
important.
so it is important. And so I just want to, so that is a huge piece of what I do with my clients when it comes to coaching. As a coach, you often find that people know what they want to achieve. They just don't know the how. They don't know how to achieve it. And so I work with my clients, I partner with them, And I say partner because it is based off of what my client wants to achieve. And so I'm there to guide them. I'm there to share any education, any research to help them along the way. But I support them in coming up with a plan for their life of how they want to manage their lupus, a healing plan, and so that they can start seeing progress when they start working towards their goals. It's not just about the goal, but it's about what actions are going to get you there. So that's a huge part of what I do. Um, so I'm glad that you brought that up because a lot of people don't know the how piece to get
No.
to where they want to be or
Yeah,
don't have the
because
support.
it's the support, and it's because you have, like you said, the how part, but it's so many things going on in your mind. Like, okay, I need to
Mm-hmm.
do this. I need to take my medicine. I need to eat better. I need to organize. I need to exercise. I need to drink my water. I need to take my medicine. I gotta go take these kids over here and then do that. It be so much going on,
Yeah.
and then I gotta remember what to cook, and then what I gotta get from the grocery store, and it's too much. And
Mm-hmm.
so everything has a place or a purpose in order to stay sane, like you said, not to be like
Has to be. Yeah,
like,
you need that.
yeah. And then I mean, I guess I remember this, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. There we go.
Okay, yes, yes, I
Yes.
got you.
So for me, I'm failing myself. I'm doing myself as a disservice if
Mm-hmm.
I don't help myself by organizing out these thoughts and figuring these things out so I can
Yeah.
just move at ease. 'Cause it's already enough.
Okay, so that is an example of pouring into yourself and self-care.
I love
Like,
it.
really, a lot of people look at self-care differently, and it's different for everybody. It's what do you need? What are your wants and what are your needs? And so I love that you do that for yourself because if you do not pour into yourself and prioritize yourself, yes, you have to prioritize everything else, but you have to prioritize yourselves to fill your cup and so you have everything that you need so you can give from your overflow, not
Yeah.
everything that you have left.
Right.
And especially as women, we are nurturers, we're givers, and so we give, give, give. But how can you continue to have anything to give if you don't give to yourself first? It's not
Yeah.
selfish. And so your way of prioritizing your planning and organizing um, is your way of giving back to yourself. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
And I
I
want
think,
everyone to know that and to learn that.
yeah.
It's a necessity.
It is. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do without my planner.
Oh,
I'll be lost. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
I say that all the time about my calendar. Like that it's my calendar is on my phone. Like so I can access it on my laptop, on my phone, like it's with
Yeah,
me.
yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's get to some more questions. Because I feel like,
Okay.
did we tap into really talking about the financial side of things when it comes to dealing with lupus? Because I feel like that's an important message in there as well.
No, you mentioned it a little bit. And can I just say this? So, um, you asked me a question before the podcast started, like to kind of like prepare to be here, right? And I think it was like what would you share? And I could be taking this away from what you were going to ask me,
No,
but
it's
you
okay.
asked about being an influencer,
Hmm.
and it's so funny because I don't see myself as an influencer. At least
That's
that's
good.
not what, yeah, like that's not why I do this. That's not what I signed up for. Like basically, um, if I was not a coach, I would be back to how I was before I was diagnosed. I would just have my personal like Instagram. It would be private. I would just have that and like Facebook, and like I hardly even posted to either one of them. I
Right.
really didn't. Like
Yeah.
that's not like a priority for me. But now that I am in this coaching world and it is part of my purpose, I'm like, okay, God, do you want me to do this? Like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to push myself. And if you meet me, you would like probably think I'm an extrovert. I'm more introverted, and so I really have to like push myself to post and to because that's the world that we live in. But to your point, social media has been a blessing because that's how I have been able to connect with so many beautiful people out there that have lupus and have this love, support, and family. But I just say all that to say, like, with what I do now, being visible on social media is a huge part of that. And so, like, for people that are trying to figure out how to pay bills and how to navigate going to a job every day, um, that is really hard. And so I feel blessed that I've been able to create this life for myself where I am able to work with my clients virtually,
Okay.
where I'm able to go to school for my PhD virtually. Um, and the one thing that I do outside of the house is go teach yoga at a yoga studio here. It's a hot yoga
Which I
studio.
did want to mention that because I do see a lot of you and your class size is getting bigger and bigger, girl.
It is, thank you. It is. God is so good. And my students love my
Yes.
class. Like, it's so
It look like
awesome.
y'all be working it out too. Y'all be
Girl,
sweating.
we're sweating. It's hot in there. It's almost 100 degrees in the room. Like, it's really hot. But being able to work from home has been a blessing for me. Being able to control and manage my schedule has been a blessing for me because you lupus warriors know on those days where you don't feel good and it hurts to even like walk and put on clothes and lay down, like how am I going to physically have
Make a
the
living.
energy
Yeah.
to get up and go work? And so I feel really blessed for this life that I created for myself. um yeah, so
I'm happy for you. I'm glad that it's actually working out. God has answered your prayers. And, even if it's not for that, He created all of us to be something, and it is to be a messenger to all His people. And so the fact that you get to be a vessel and you get to be used in that way, that's a beautiful thing by itself. And the fact that you are able to tap into that energy to be able to hear God, that's a blessing.
it
Because
is
so
a
many of us
blessing.
we have so many things that block us from being able to tap into God's will and be able to really do it even though we don't want to. And I'm talking about myself. Because
Well,
there's
I am.
sometimes I don't want to, but okay, God, I'll tell it.
Yes, that's where faith kicks in for sure.
Yeah, because
I
it's like
agree with
I'm
that.
not a camera person. I don't, I don't know, I'm not a camera person. I'll do audio podcasting all day long and it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me. But the fact that he's like, no, I want people to see you. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is so uncomfortable
Yes.
for me. But okay, okay, God.
Girl, yes, I feel you 100%. That's why I honestly take social media breaks. Like I'm not a poster. I try to post
Correct.
as much as possible, but I don't post every day. But putting yourself out there for someone like me or for someone like you, like it may not be the easiest. And so
Mm-mm.
now that I know that about you, please know I'm giving you love and support because I feel you 100%,
But
girl.
you always have. You've even on my planner page, I've always been able to like just message you or you would just comment or say something. You've always been good at, following up or communicating or just saying, "Hey, girl, I see you." I love that. I
Oh,
love that authentic part that, you genuinely see somebody trying, managing, and give them like the pat on the back that we don't really get a lot.
yes.
Because I feel like for me, you just kind of get in a place where you don't feel seen. It's just
I
kind of like you're
see
like,
you.
oh, you see it, girl. It's okay.
I see
But
you,
we get
girl.
each other. I love
I
that.
I appreciate that too. Like I look for and I told you one of my goals was community. And so, like, genuine community, authentic relationships, especially in the lupus community, is important to me. And so, that is me trying to show my love and support and, like, genuinely wanting, I'm rooting for you.
That's so
wanting you to
sweet.
do well. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so I think I'm just going to ask you one more question.
Okay.
So, as someone deeply immersed in the field of holistic medicine for lupus, what final message or piece of advice would you like to share with the audience?
Oh, oh God, so much. And I know you said one, and sometimes like I
Whatever you
ramble.
want to share.
Okay, I will say that everybody's journey to heal is different. Everybody's journey in figuring out how lupus affects you is different. And so learning that really, like, people talk about listening to your body, but it's like, okay, well, how do I listen to my body? Like, what does that mean? That's like a popular, catchphrase now. But really, that is the foundation of really tuning in, to heal yourself, and tuning in to see, like, how do these medications affect me? Are these medications causing certain side effects that I should be aware of? Because when you are able to tune into yourself, when it comes to either the medications that you're taking or the healthy lifestyle change behaviors that you're implementing, that's when you can advocate for yourself as far as what you want, what you need, and figuring out the best path for your healing. There's no one stop shop. There's not, oh, this 100% worked for me, so it's 100% going to work for you. No. So I would say that, and really explore all different kinds of holistic methods, like whether you are someone that is on medication and wanting to support yourself through holistic, lifestyle changes and holistic medicine, or whether you're someone that just wants to go the holistic route. I definitely think you should explore your options. And if you don't know what they are, don't know where to start, you can find someone like me to help support you along that journey. But really being open, because some of the things that really hit home for me, like, I had always worked out. I had always, like, focused on healthy nutrition, sleep management, stress management. I think those are things that everybody knows that they need to do. But when I really started being open to energy medicine through intuitive energy healing for myself, acupuncture, these are things that were game changers. And I'm like, if I would have known that these things worked and, like, healing my trauma, I would have did those things back in 2006. But
Right.
nobody told me. And so me doing the research, being open to it and trying it has been a game changer. So be open, really tune into yourself, be open, and don't give up, because you never know that one thing that, like pushes you in the right direction or has the biggest impact for your healing. Yeah. And I can keep
Okay.
going on, but I will stop because I'm really passionate about
No,
that.
it's good. I'm glad. You know what? I think that's my favorite part about you is that you are passionate. That you actually do care. Because I tell myself every day people don't really care. Just because it
Oh,
helps me
yeah.
get through the disappointment if they don't show up the way I want them to.
Yeah,
So the fact
I
that
get that.
you genuinely like love it, that's how I am about planning. Like I will talk your head
Yeah.
off about a
Yeah, yeah.
planner. I will buy it for you just so I can help you plan it out. Like that's how I am. But where can people find you if they want to work with you or what you got? How can they find you,
I
connect with you?
You know what? And you just said something. I would love for my clients to have your planner. So I
Oh, I'm
like,
working on it. I'm working, finishing it up now.
okay, yes, like, yes, so we'll talk about that. But
Yes, yes,
um
we will.
you can find me on my website, which is thelupuscoach.com. You can also find me on Instagram, as the Lupus Coach. You can find me through my business, which is my coaching practice, Discover Your Power.
Yes.
Discover Your Power is my business that I founded after I left corporate America, in 2017, and I haven't looked back. I've been working for myself as an entrepreneur, as a coach, and everything else that I do. So yeah, discover your power is my baby, and that is how I live a purposeful life, overcoming lupus.
Yeah. Thank God for that. And thank God for you. A huge thank you to Lizeth
Yes,
Santa Maria
thank you
for
for
joining
having
us
me.
today. You inspired me so much, and I just to be more
Oh,
passionate about mainly the energy space, the energy healing, like that
yes.
energy medicine. I'm definitely gonna do some more research on that, and I hope you guys do the same. So thank you so much. I hope I get to speak to you again.
Oh, 100%. Yes. And thank you for having me. This has just been awesome. I love connecting with my Lupus Warrior sisters. So I appreciate you.
All right, you guys, until next time, peace and be intentional. As we wrap up another episode of Lupus Speaks, I hope you are leaving with renewed inspiration and a belief that dreams are attainable despite lupus or any chronic illness. Let's keep the conversation going by connecting with us at Lupus Speaks on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please remember you are not alone on this journey and that your dreams are not defined by lupus. They're powered by your strength and determination. So until next time, you guys, peace and be intentional.